Hey, so I tried to go to the remote place I possibly could because I just want to talk in complete privacy, and I need to talk. Because it's important to get those thoughts and your feelings out. And I actually wrote in my notes. I have a little note app on my phone, which I highly recommend. There's a bunch of them. Just find one in App Store or whatever. Side note, I really preferred the Android app store, or whatever they call it, place where you get apps, because there were way more that were free and way more interesting stuff in my memory. I don't know how it is now, but anyway, there were a lot more like fun games that I remember. That was a while ago that I had Android, but I would like to get another one just for that. But I already feel better talking. I don't have anyone in my life that I can talk to, really. I have people that I can obviously physically talk to. Oh, sorry. It's quite cold out. So yeah, there's people I can talk to. Of course, I have one. My best friend is probably one of the best people in the world. I would put him in the 0.1% best people. And I know some other good people, but it's that no one could possibly really feel what I've gone through because they haven't gone through it. And not that it's so terrible. It's not compared to most people's lives. It's just that it's so improbable. And what I mean by that is, I think I may have one of the worst return on investments in terms of the amount of work and energy and creativity I've put into my life and into work. I can give some examples. Much of my life, seems like so much of my life has been me almost getting something. Honestly, and I'll explain. Side note, I think my voice sounds much higher right now than it usually does. Maybe just because I'm in such a bad spot in life right now that it's just I don't know, my muscles get all tight. I think that tightens my vocal cords. Anyway, whatever. Okay. So, like, I don't know how far back I could go. Okay. I was doing this humming thing that my first vocal coach told me that you should have it feel like a vibration in your lips, in front of your front teeth and your lips. Anyway, when I was a kid, I was really great at running. I was very fast, and I could run a long distance well, so I could do both well. And you come to find that, I keep coming back to the 0.1%, but you come to find that even if you're in the 0.1% or even 0.01%, that's meaningless. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter at all, because the people who are the become the world champions in something that's highly competitive are the 0.00001% or 0.0000001%, or these people who can make, I think I saw something that was like people who become a professional athlete, it's like it's around 1 out of every 10,000, so I think that's 0.01%. And a lot of people that become professional athletes, I think their careers last very, like the average career is very, very short, and a lot of people play on leagues that most people don't know about or watch, and that might pay a couple $1,000s a year, which in the United States is not even it's maybe a month's worth of salary for the average person or something. So anyway, I trained for this race. I was homeschooled, and it was a race with I think all the fifth graders in the county. I think all the schools in the county. May have been in that city, but there seemed like a lot of kids. Anyway, I was on my own, so I only had me to compare to, and I only had trained with myself, and so I knew I would go to some homeschooling groups and stuff like that. Like once a week there was something where they would have like arts and gym and whatever, some other stuff for homeschool kids, and could kind of get together and do stuff. I think creative writing or something like that they had. Anyway, so I was always the fastest in that, and that's all well and good, but it's just not that many kids. I'm trying to see if I have some tissue here. I think I do. Another side note, a million side notes, I guess. There's stuff in them that can seep through your skin, and that's not a conspiracy theory thing. You can look that up. So, I'm not going to throw that out into the nature randomly right now, but I should get rid of that. Something in it that's not good that seeps in your skin. Oh, look, this is from... I guess this was from when I was in China. This has Chinese all over it. I don't remember this. Maybe somebody just gave this to me. I don't know. That was a weird thing when I would go abroad for the first time. It still seems weird to me, and you just see stuff written in other languages everywhere. It's like there's Chinese all over this. But also I've been to some other countries and they sell products just like this. But in the United States, if it's a Chinese product being sold here, it'll be written in English. You almost always, unless you go to a Chinese market or something. Okay, back to the point in a second. It's so cold. It's about 0 degrees here Celsius, and close to 32 Fahrenheit. American or use that system, imperial system, I believe. Anyway, okay. So, I was pretty psyched for this race, and I had this whole grandiose thing about, I was raised in a Christian home, and the thing about Christianity is, like, people get mad and they're like, these Christians, I'm so mad at these Christians. And it's like, if you think that Christians are dumb or wrong, that's one thing, and that's perfectly understandable in a lot of cases if if you've seen Christians do wrong things, or if you've heard them profess things that are clearly wrong, or whatever. But for people, I'd say most Christians have a belief to some degree, some are very strong in their beliefs, that if you don't accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you will go to hell for all of eternity. So, for them trying to convert you or anybody, it's, you could say that they're trying to do it out of some, some other motivation, and that they're trying to just be a know-it-all, or that they are trying to gain stuff in heaven, gain rewards in heaven. But I think a good chunk of them just want, because this is what they believe, they just want you to not go to hell for all of eternity, which is, that's the best thing that someone could want for you, is for you to go. If there's a heaven and a hell, think of all of eternity, right? All of eternity. That's the most important thing for you, is to go to heaven and not to hell, right? I don't know. That's what my brain can calculate, at least in terms of how you end up, right? Again, that's, if you believe that to be true. And so, most Christians believe that to be true, I think. So they want you to not go to hell for all of eternity. So I would, just, people often act illogically. So I would just say, it's not really logical. And if you're annoyed, I understand that, but to me, it's just, I see people who seem angry because maybe they think that Christians have some sort of some weird selfish motive for wanting them to accept Christ, whereas I think it's from their perspective, if you put themselves in their shoes, which we should always try to do, from their perspective, it's the most beneficial to you from their perspective. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, so that was, I had a plan to, if I won, then I could, I planned to say, like, I think they did like an interview with the winner or something. They got it written in the paper, and I could tell them, like, oh, God help me, and you should accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Ask for His forgiveness and go to heaven. Right. So, 1 through 15, I believe, got a statue of some sort, and I got 16th place. And that, that doesn't sound that big of a deal, but when you looking forward to something for, whatever it was, months or weeks, and you train and you practice, it's very crushing when you're a child. That seems like the world to you, right? And I worked on a music career, and I was also very good at soccer, and then my nerves. I was so nervous every time I would play, because I wasn't very good socially, and but I was popular because I was good at soccer, so people wanted to engage with me. So I felt like that was the only thing that made me have worth, because I did not have. Just heard a weird sound. So yeah, that's rough. When you're not brought up and raised that you're just like are inherently loved, that you deserve love, you should have unconditional love. If you don't have that, you are, I don't know anybody who has that and is not doing well, and I don't know anybody who doesn't have that and is doing really badly. No. Anyone who doesn't have that and is doing very well. Did I say that right? Scratch that. I don't know anybody who has that and is doing terribly. And then I don't know anybody who doesn't have that and then is doing like phenomenal. Yeah, if you don't feel unconditionally loved, I mean, I think without exception you're going to be trying to prove that you're worth. To some degree, it's much stronger with others. For me, it was, I would say, extremely strong. I think for some other people it's not quite as strong, but I don't know how they feel. I just know that I felt dead inside for most of my life. Certainly all of my childhood. And so I just was trying to prove it all the time. And you can't, human beings have a certain amount of pressure that they can deal with, and I was already like wildly stressed because of my family. My mom was, I don't know if you could technically say insane, but people use these words like psycho and stuff like that. And there's things severely wrong with her, which caused, I can't say every problem in my life, but I don't think it's an exaggeration to say every major problem in my life. But my dad, he didn't really help, and he caused tons of problems too. So they're two peas in a pod. And so you're in constant state of stress and anxiety, and you don't get help. I remember going to the dentist, and they said that I was like grinding my teeth, and he said it could be, this is a sign of stress. And then when the dentist left, I was like, oh, did you hear? I'm like, oh, it sounds, what do you think? She's like, I don't know, you'll be all right. I was like, well, he said I could be stressed. She said, what do you have to be stressed about? You're 12. And at that point, I was like, I would say very depressed, or maybe extremely depressed at that point. And so just to hear that was like, the nail in the coffin. It was like a knife in the heart. It was like, well, I'm really on my own now. There's no one coming to help. There's no hope. So that sucked. And so yeah, I mean, I was the best player on my team, and possibly the best player in my league, but I just when it came time to be like evaluated, I totally froze up, and people were really shocked about that, because I think they placed me at like the bottom, and yeah, so prior to that, I had won Player of the Tournaments award, Player of the Tournament awards. I had a lot of trophies. I was maybe the main goal scorer, and you know, there's plenty of kids that do amazing and then they end up, nothing comes with it. But a professional player had seen me, and he had told my mom that he had wanted to work with me, and my mom said no. So what the fuck? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? So one, I would say, fairly legitimate opportunity of having like a really cool life, or being a professional athlete, or like, that's a legitimate, professional player comes and sees you and says that he wants to work with you because he sees that you're particularly gifted. Again, that's not a end all be all, but I'm putting my hands up like this. It's like, okay, so that shut down, and then and I tried forever to make a career in music, and I think I might take this off now because it's starting to hurt. I'll explain. So the reason I had this on was because I'm trying to improve the strength of my left eye, because it's a little weaker than my right eye, and that might sound crazy, like it doesn't, like that wouldn't work, but it actually does seem to be stronger when I'm not using the right eye, stronger than normal. And I have this weird thing with my eyes kind of slightly crossed when I'm looking at stuff in the distance, so I'm trying to fix that. So I put so much time, so much work, so much wasted time and work. I was so bad at producing music. I was so bad, and I wasted so much time, and I didn't even, the songs were not, they were good. The songs I made are good if I had somebody who's really good at like editing, and like just so so in music, there's especially for like, think of like the biggest pop hits ever. There's often like up to, I think, 60 people that maybe work on that one track, and that goes to lyricists. That's individual producers. There's mixers. There's somebody who like kind of puts the composition together, like maybe an original composition. Then there's somebody who like adds to it, kind of, and then works with a musician that's maybe the producer. And then there's like mixers who like edit the levels, and masters who like complete the whole thing and then put it into a track. So there's a lot that goes in, and there could be a lot of producers. There could be tons. There could be tons of writers. So Sometimes it's just one guy, and sometimes it's just whatever. He does everything. He does the lyrics, singing, producing, mixing, mastering, everything. But that could be 10 people each, and if there's a couple different artists on it, singers, if there's a band, that adds the amount of people that are working on one single track. Anyway, I did talk to one guy who worked in the music industry, and he said my songs were like not like the biggest hit potential, but like one level under there. And I'm like, yeah, well, I make at that point I hadn't even made like that much stuff, and I wasn't that good, but I was like, I'm fine with work. I'm happy to like what a lot of artists do is people will send them demos and then they'll make those into songs. So I was like, I'm happy to do that, or like if people bring songs to me and we work up, to make a career. I could name a bunch of artists that's mostly what they've done or how they've developed, or they started out. Maroon 5 started out making mostly their own stuff, but then they started fielding a bunch of other producers and demos and stuff to send in, and then they made songs from those. So it can be all mixed. You can particularly tell if you listen to like the first CD or a couple of CDs in Maroon 5 and the last most recent 10 singles from them, they sound very different. I think a lot of them are fantastic. It's not a bad thing or good thing, it's just the way it is. Anyway, so I was just terrible. I would waste like I think months just trying to get the arranged little notes to be on tempo, on the beat, which that should never happen. You should be able to there's a lot of programs that will snap them into place for you, and I just wouldn't take the time to learn how to do that. I just wouldn't. So I wasted so much time, so much energy on stuff that wasn't even that good. So that's insane. Anyway, I would do things to try to, make a career, like in saying things like, I went to New York and I found the office of the guy who discovered Britney Spears, and and this sounds insane, but I actually did find him, but I was so like frozen, like I would be when I would like be tested when I was playing soccer. What I mean by tested is like they would to get scored in for which team you're gonna get, like it's like first team, second team, third team, fourth team. It's like for the best, and then going down to the least important. They would go to like they would evaluate you, so whenever I was being evaluated, I would like freeze up. And I froze up when I came across this guy, and it was, the opportunity of a lifetime. I did all this work. I went to New York to do this, and it just didn't happen. I messed up. So yeah, another time was just getting so close and messing up, and that was insane. Anyway, I think I went back again and just failed completely. Just waited outside and it just never came out. And let's see. Oh, I went to China to go perform, because when I lived there, I would see people perform out in public. So I went to do that, and then I got like shut down very quickly, because I guess you're supposed to have a permit. So that, imagine spending hundreds of dollars to go to China to do that, and then, yeah, just getting messed up like that. I had a nervous breakdown then, because I was like, I messed up so bad. I convinced myself to do that, even when I felt like it was the wrong thing. I felt like I was doing the wrong thing. But, yeah, just another example of failing. And I was gonna do like a competition, a singing competition. And I had it worked out really well with a friend, and we had practiced a ton. And then something happened. There's some sort of storm, and then it got canceled. And okay. I'm not, so just fail 20 years of music. Keep trying, keep promoting, I did like a show, and then I didn't sell enough tickets, so I lost money because there was like a show, like I really should have, but I was too young at the time to know what to do exactly. I tried to sell it to some friends and stuff. They you can open for somebody if you get some tickets and then sell them, which isn't it's not amazing, but I get that it's a business and they're trying to make money. So yeah. I went to LA to act, and the first thing I had an opportunity to be on a show, like a Hulu show, pretty big show, and I just failed that miserably, but so I didn't really know how to act. And then I had an opportunity to be on a sort of a award show, and I realized I should have just shown some more emotion and been excited, because that's what they need on an award show. And I really felt like I should go back, and I didn't, but I don't know, I just messed up. I felt like it. And yeah, I had trained really extensively for this thing where you're supposed to play David Miscavige, and I wish I had the video for that, because I know I nailed it. I mean, if I've recorded myself 100 times probably doing this audio, doing this dialogue, and the craziest thing was that they recorded that process because it was for a documentary. So I don't think I was on that, but you can see people auditioning for it, because it's with this British documentarian, which was very weird to have that happen on this weird, sort of obscure audition thing. Anyway, yeah, so that sucks. I did end up getting some paid, so I can't just say, oh, everything didn't work out, because I did get some paid acting jobs. But actually that's pretty much, that's something worth noting for being in LA, 2 months getting some acting jobs. A lot of people go years and never get anything. So thank God for that. Hallelujah. Oh fuck, there's a car coming, I think. Alright, it looks like you just passed by. Sorry for swearing. I don't condone swearing, but no one's perfect. Anyway, and yeah, it's getting dark out. Okay. So, yeah, that didn't work out. And I had see. Oh, I was in China asked to do some voice, some audio for some like a children's show, like a giant children's show in China. And on the way out, the guy said to me, "Well, I can't say this officially, but I look forward to working with you." So I'm like, "Wow, that's amazing," you know. Turns out they call me back and they're like, "Oh, we're so sorry. Somebody came in who just did the voice a little bit better than you." I was like, okay. And then I auditioned for a K-pop group, and I made it through past the preliminary round, which is a lot to say, but then I guess it folded. I think it was like a venture. This happened right after the Chinese stock market crash, so I think, you know, probably some like, you know, rich guy or group of rich guys that, you know, are trying to do some sort of other venture, and then they lost money in the market, and they stopped this thing. And I had tried to put some plans forward to the people, with the liaison that I had talked to for this, and he just never responded to me. Nobody ever responded to me after they said that they're going to pause the formation of it was either a group or I think it was pause the formation of a group. So yeah, that sucked. Then I did another K-pop audition, and they seemed pretty psyched. And then another one, and then they were like, really liked how I sounded, but they asked me if I spoke Korean, and I said no. And then they sounded disappointed. So anyway, and I did another audition for a show. That was terrible because I waited so many hours, and they're just like, we're looking for like something with more energy, because I did like a slower sad song. It's like, well, it would have been great to know that beforehand. And I did like an online business, which looked really nice, but I realized I learned from that marketing is most important, because I just had a website, and you have to get people to go to your website to use it, and so I didn't know about that, and I just spent a little bit of money on marketing, and it didn't really work. So I was just like, I don't know, it just seems like I'm just gonna keep wasting money. I tried to sell some stuff online, and that didn't really work. I have sold some stuff that worked, but, you know, like buying products and selling them. And I did streaming on a Chinese app called HelloTalk, and I was I'm technically, you know, a professional streamer, because they did pay me, but the pay was so small after the first month that I was like, this is not worth continuing. But I didn't know that the pay was that little. I thought it was at least something to get by with, but because I had pretty many followers per stream. And then yeah, I mean, videos on YouTube and stuff have been cool, but I had money in my YouTube like creator account or whatever, and then they just like took it away, and they made it so that you need to have like 1,000 followers to get money, which seems like it's theft. But yeah, and then let's see, these are just the things I'm thinking of right now. There's way more. So most recently I tried for about a year and a half. So I scoured the internet for properties, and I found a really cheap one, and we agreed to a price in like written. So that's technically a contract if you don't know. And then I messaged him like a day or two later, this guy who's selling it, and he's like, already it's being sold to somebody else because they sent a deposit over. And I'm like, well, we agreed on a price. He's like, well, a lot of people had, but they didn't send something. I think my brother wanted me to sue him, and I think I technically could have, but I'm pretty sure that he could have just dissolved his LLC, which is, I think, what I would have had to sue. I don't know if I could have sued him personally over that, because the property was an LLC. I didn't look into it, but it was such a cheap property. I didn't know if it was worth it. It seemed like if ChatGPT were prevalent at the time, I probably would have looked it up, but I don't think it was at the time. I think this was just before ChatGPT. So it's getting dark out. Maybe I could put a little light here. A little bright. Is that okay? I think that's okay, huh? Okay. Maybe like this. Maybe like this. It's good enough. So, then from that point on, which was about, it's coming up on, I think, 2 years, probably a year and a half. Yeah, I think, okay, the next one I put an offer in on, the guy withdrew. He decided he's not going to sell. And then there were about at least 10, probably 15 where I would put in an offer, or about to put in an offer, and then it would just be sold before. In this you might think, oh, that's what happens in markets, especially competitive markets. I was not in competitive markets. I was in rural properties. I was in putting in things that were like listed on the market for 150 days, 100 days. So for that to happen over and over, at best, it's a 50-50 chance. So 50-50 chance for each time. And then if you think times 15, it just shouldn't happen. And then, there was a couple more that I had put in offers on. Most of it just happened to me where I called the lady and I put an offer, and then we agreed to a price and everything, and then I was waiting to hear back from her to finalize some papers. And so I called her and she said she's not going to sell anymore. And I was just like, oh. And she just goes, thank you, bye. Just like, just so you know, verbal contract is still a contract. It's much harder to prove, but, it's illegal to say that you're going to do something and then not, in terms of a sale. A lot of these times really sucked so bad because I had done a bunch of research. I was trying to help her out. She was like an elderly lady, and I tried to look up, what would be the cheapest title company to go with for her to use. I did that for other property. One of them was really cheap, and I was planning on fixing it up. Basically, it was so cheap. It was $3,000, and then the cheapest title company that would do it, I think they were going to charge near $1,500. $1,300 or $1,500, which is a huge percentage of the property value. So I was trying to find something cheaper, but so that sucked, all that time wasted and everything. So it's about about a year and a half now that's I've just blown through. So much research, so much time, so many calls, talking with lenders, and looking at different states and stuff, so then you have to get a different lender for different states sometimes. And just still nothing. And I tried a bunch. I used to trade too. I've done a lot of trading, and that sucked the most because I was doing pretty good, and then I made one big mistake and lost an obscene amount of money, and so much time and effort put into that. And when you do a bunch of like research on a trading strategy and then it doesn't work out, it's just it's really hard. Positive note is that when I do a job, I think I've always been the best at the job amongst people who are doing the same work as me. But you don't want to get stuck in that forever if you feel like killing yourself every day when you're there. So it's either feeling like killing myself or trying to do something else. So I think it's probably up to 20 deals that have fallen through, and even if it's only even if it's less than that, even if it's a 10% chance of happening each time, that's still, by now it should have worked out, but it's probably over 50% chance if you've set up a deal, and especially if you've already have it written down or if you already have a verbal agreement. I mean, it's wild. Combining that with all the other failures that I just said, the worst thing might be that my mom or my parents just consider it to be me not being good enough. Like I just am incapable, which if someone wants to think that or believe that, I wouldn't argue with them, because I know how my life has played out and how that I haven't done anything terribly wrong, and I've done just what, if somebody's buying a house, it's not like they have some sort of people do that every day. People buy a house every day, people who have no experience in doing it, and people who have a far lower IQ than me. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but people who are not smart buy houses frequently. Like, that happens every day to somebody who's not smart. They buy a house. So for it to not work out, about 20 times, to me seems like it's not coincidence. Especially if you study statistics, which I recommend people do. I actually am also technically a professional poker player, but there are some other constraints that I won't go into regarding that, which made it not lucrative enough. But maybe if I got better at that, then it would be. And then I was just trying to do some other trading stuff, and that didn't work out. I don't have any to talk to, because my parents they don't have any sort of answer. It's, maybe you should study something else, or you should, get some other 9-to-5. And I think that would be wonderful, if I had the capacity to be okay. If I was just okay at a normal job, that'd be fine. But I'm not. I eventually started hating myself and my life and just wanting to die. And that's where I'm at right now. I just, if heaven exists, I really would just prefer to be in heaven right now. And I can't do it anymore. So hopefully God will help me. I kind of see the perspective of, I've been blessed with so many things. I'm not starving. My body is in pretty good condition, all things considered. There are people in my life who are nice to me, and I have a place to sleep and eat, and so I'm super grateful for those things. I just, trying so much and failing, there's not a word to describe how it is. Like I said, I think nobody I know has had such a nobody I've heard of has had such a terrible rate of return on the amount of work they've done. So it sucks, and I don't know when my phone's gonna die, but it'll probably die pretty soon. So I should probably wrap this up, even though So if anybody could pray for me, I'd appreciate that. I'm at a loss now, thinking about killing myself constantly. I don't think I will, hopefully. But thank you for listening. Love you. God bless you. And what I wanted the channel to be was like super happy and stuff all the time, and just something people to go to and consistently be happy. A happy thing, right? But in life, sometimes it's just beat you down so much. At least in my case, it has.